Oh, nothing. I was just wondering if you needed help. Now there's an idea. The story is just what we need to get our minds off of that big brute. Well, I've got one. In fact, this is one story I've never told anyone before. Actually, it's not much of a story. It's more of a legend. It's called The Legend of the Lost Engine. It was during the time of the Golden Jubilee. A special engine was built in honor of Her Majesty, Queen Victoria. The engine's name was Lady. She was a very special engine with a small box and trims made of gold. She was also a very helpful and kind engine, always willing to work no matter the job. She mostly took passengers, but she especially escorted the Queen on her travels around Britain. Eventually, Lady was sold to the Southern and Mainland Railway, which was what the Northwestern Railway was called back in those days. She didn't mind that a bit. She was just happy to be really useful wherever she was, and she was very popular with the other engines there. She was even quick to make friends with the engines on the Skarloey Railway, Skarloey and Reneus. She was even granted her very own branch line with 3 coaches. For many years she looked after the line and never even had one accident. But one day, everything changed. As she was backing into a row of stone trucks, she couldn't stop, and then she pushed an engine into a set of buffers. The buffers broke apart, and the engine was pushed further off the tracks and into a line-side hut. Then Lady ran away. Later that same day, a strange man spoke to the railway controller and made an offer for Lady. The controller accepted. He promised to deliver her to the scrapyard the very next day. However, she never went to the scrapyard the next day. It was a mystery to everyone. That night, Lady was sleeping in the shed like normal, but the next morning, she disappeared. Vanished without a trace. That's just it, Percy. No one knew. They searched all over the island and parts of the mainland, but found nothing. Some believe she ran away in the middle of the night and fell off the dock into the sea. Others that she never even existed. Others thought she never even existed, and it was all just their imagination. But I believe she's still out there, somewhere. She might even still be on our island, in a place none of us have ever been to before. Thomas, can you take that old truck to the works? It's been there for a while, and it's taken up space. And I don't care much for its attitude. Just be careful, Thomas. That one can be very troublesome. I actually lost count after 75. You're welcome, Sheriff Kelly. Why is he in such a rush? And who is after him? Be careful, Thomas. Oh, wait. Be careful, Sheriff Kelly. Hello, Thomas and Sheriff Kelly. What are you two doing here so early? You mean the one about the lost engine? What about it? What? How did you guys figure out it was me? I never said that it was! Oh, then yes, and that very engine who had that accident with Lady all these years ago. Because I was too ashamed of myself to tell any of you. Because I felt it was my fault she had disappeared. Well, back then, I was still new on Sodor, having just arrived from the furnace railway. I was young and very eager to prove myself. That day, I was just waiting in the siding for the passenger train to go by, but I was being rather careless and not paying attention to my surroundings. My driver had just released the brakes and was about to back us out of the siding and onto the line again. But then, well, when I came back from the works, uh, when I came back from the work, when I came back from the works a few days later, Lady was already gone. I wanted to tell her how sorry I was for getting her into trouble with the Southern and Mainland Railway controller, but when I heard that she was being sold for scrap, I had feared the worst, until I heard that she never made it to the scrapyard. I felt that I was responsible for all this, and I have been living with that guilt even to this day. When I heard that the controller had scrapped Annie and Clarabelle's sister, I was distraught. I wanted to do what I could to make up for my mistake, but nothing ever changed how I felt, and I don't think it will. But what makes you so sure it wasn't? How did you... Yes, that's right. He used to own the Wellsworth scrapyard. He was the one who made an offer for Lady. You know, come to think of it, that's what explained Boomer's behavior after Lady had disappeared. Well, rumor was going around the railway blowing up tunnels, tearing down shades, and causing all sorts of trouble, almost as if he was trying to find something, but his rampage didn't last. It wasn't long until the authorities caught wind of his actions. They found him carrying crates of dynamite over to a line-side shed. So he was placed under arrest and sentenced to life in prison. And I should know because I helped them track him down and apprehend him. I suppose it would make sense why he wanted Lady so badly, since she had golden trims. He would have made a fortune, cutting her up and selling them. But I'm just glad he never got a chance. I only wish that Lady was still here. Oh, it's nothing, Bill. I was just thinking. Among other things, but mostly what Thomas and Sheriff Kelly meant before they left, I don't know if they were only trying to cheer me up, or they were trying to tell me something. And if I had just been more careful back in these days, Lady wouldn't have disappeared. I know it wasn't all my fault, but I still felt guilty about it. Lads, what's going on here? And who are you all excited to see? I don't believe it. Lady, is that really you? I thought you were gone forever. Oh, Lady, you have no idea how much that means to me. Thank you. I hope she is inside that line hut. I hope she is inside that line-side hut. Huh? Oh, crumbs. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.